for Athletic Medicine is here for our community during these challenging times. I'm Annie Lewis from IAM's Blaine location, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 simple stretches you can do standing at your workstation. In my first video, I talked about setting up a home workstation and all about what that would look like if you're sitting down. One of the things I talked about was getting up, moving around, and having some variety in your workstation. If you have the option to stand while you're working, that can be a nice way to add variety to your workday. Shooting for standing about 15 minutes for every 30 to 60 that you sit is a nice benchmark. If you are going to stand, you can use some simple things from around your house to set up your station. I'm using my dining room table and 2 boxes that I found around the house, as well as a separate keyboard and mouse so that I can stand with my screen at a pretty good height and work with my arms up by my sides. If you're still feeling like things are getting tight and you want to stretch out, these stretches can help you while you're standing at your workstation. They can be done individually or all together, and none of them should hurt. You should feel like you're doing something, like it's a stretch, but it shouldn't feel bad. My patients often describe this feeling as hurt so good. It should feel like a strong sensation, but it should feel like a good thing. Let's get started. First one is a back bend. Standing with your feet shoulder width distance apart and hands on your hips, bend backward, looking up to the ceiling, only if that feels good to your neck. If your neck is bothered by this, you can keep your head facing forward. You'll hold this one just a few seconds, and you'll repeat 8 to 10 times. You may notice that as you go, you're able to bend back a little bit more. Good. Number 2 is a hip flexor stretch. That's the part of the front of your hip that starts to get tight if you sit for too long. Again, you'll stand with feet about hip width distance apart, 1 foot behind the other. You'll tuck your tailbone under by tightening your butt muscles and then slide your hips forward. I don't have to go very far before I feel a pretty good stretch in the front of that back hip. Hold this one for about 20 seconds and do 2 to 3 on each side. We'll switch. Tuck the tailbone, slide forward, big stretch on the front of that hip. Number 3 is a quad stretch. Grab onto the ankle of the leg you want to stretch. You can use your hand on something for support. Make sure your knees are next to each other and you're standing up nice and tall. You should feel a big stretch across the front of your thigh. Hold this for 20 seconds and repeat 2 to 3 times each side. Good. Number 4 is a calf stretch. The position looks almost exactly the same as the hip flexor stretch. You'll start with feet hips width distance apart, step 1 foot back. Don't worry about tucking your tailbone this time. Just slide yourself forward, lunging onto that front leg. You should feel a stretch in the back of the back leg. Hold this for 20 seconds. Switch and repeat 2 to 3 times on each side. The 5th and final stretch is a pec stretch. I don't have a good corner, which is an easy way to stretch your pecs in my area, so I'm going to use a wall and do this one at a time. Facing the wall, put one hand on the wall and turn your body away from that hand until you feel a nice stretch across your chest. If you don't feel a stretch, you can advance this by bringing your hand up a little bit. If it feels too intense, you can bring your hand down a little bit, holding for 20 seconds. And repeat on the other side. Just like the other stretches, you'll repeat this 2 to 3 times on each side. And just like that, in a few minutes, you've stretched everything out and you're ready to work again. Thanks for watching. We're here for you and we care. Stay safe, stay healthy. Together, we can get through this.